This video finds us in Durham, North Carolina at the Duke Homestead and Tobacco Museum. This is one of 27 places that are operated by the North Carolina Division of Historic Sites. It features the historic home and farm and factory of Washington Duke, who lived with his family on this land from 1852 to 1874. His family is best known for controlling much of the tobacco industry for years and becoming major philanthropists, which is how many buildings, companies, businesses, and even a university now carry the Duke name. But all that started with this tobacco farm, which is why we start in a tobacco museum. Before we show you some highlights, we will say the museum exhibits did mention what we all know to be true now, which is that more than 6 million people die from smoking-related illnesses every year. Jack and I have both had relatives die as a direct result of smoking. This video is meant to look back on a particular time and place and not be an advertisement for tobacco. Here is a miniature look at the grounds of the Duke Homestead, which we will tour in a moment. In the museum exhibits, we learned about tobacco seeds, which were smaller than I expected, and how the seeds were planted. We learned about bright leaf tobacco, which became the most popular type, apparently because of its sweet smell and mild flavor. The role of slavery in tobacco production of the time is mentioned, though Duke's tobacco empire didn't take off until after the Civil War, when slavery was illegal. After the Civil War, Duke exploited poor sharecroppers for labor, a common practice where landowners would provide land and housing to laborers in exchange for an agreement to split the proceeds from the work 50-50. But the sharecroppers would then be charged for needed supplies, resulting in most of the money going to the landowners in the end. A short film about the practice of sharecropping airs in the museum. There was an exhibit about the farming tools that tobacco farmers used in the 1800s with descriptions of how they were used. The process of growing, harvesting, and processing tobacco for use through the years was depicted in numerous scenes featuring life-size figures of farm workers, one of which used to be a talking, moving animatronic, though it was not currently operational at the time of our visit. There were numerous pieces of tobacco history on display, including artistic spittoons, elaborately carved pipes, a replica of the Liberty Bell that was made out of tobacco for some reason. They even had an old cigarette vending machine, which I remember being pretty common when I was a child in the 80s. There was a lot more to see in this museum, which I felt gave a pretty good history of what remains a major cash crop for North Carolina without romanticizing it too much. We then took a guided tour of the historic buildings on the grounds, which we are about to share with you. But if you're enjoying traveling through history, please click the like button to register your positive vibes and help my channel grow. Guided tours are offered daily as staffing allows. The tour is $4 per adult and $1 per child. You can tour the grounds on your own using a brochure as a guide, though you may not be able to access all of the buildings without a tour guide. The tour started out at the building where the tobacco leaves are cured, which means they're dried out using heat and humidity. Bright leaf tobacco, which became the best seller for the Dukes, was cured using intense heat from charred logs. From there, we learned how the cured leaves were packed for sale in the pack house. We were then taken to the farm's factory, which was built later. This wasn't the building originally used as the factory. When Washington Duke first started his business, they used the farm's small corn crib for this work. Once the factory was built, workers here were mostly women who were employed to strip the cured leaves from the stalk, tying leaves of a similar quality together into bundles, which were called hands, and then packing these into barrels or bales for sale. Our tour guide demonstrated and explained some of the work that took place in the factory. Next, we toured the Duke family home, which they lived in until 1974, a few years before the Dukes came to dominate the tobacco industry. As such, it isn't by any means a mansion like you might expect titans of industry to live in, because they had not reached the pinnacle of their success yet when they lived on this land. But it was a nice farmhouse for the time. I enjoy touring historic homes like this to see how people lived in generations past. Visiting the Tobacco Museum and doing a self-guided tour are free. You're only charged for taking the guided tour, though I think it's worth the few dollars to hear the extra background and stories that tour guides can provide. This site has ample free parking in front of the museum. Tobacco is not at all an interest of ours, but it was still interesting to learn about its history, from Europeans first learning about it from Native Americans, to its widespread growth, to its eventual well-earned drop in popularity. If you're in Durham, this is a pretty interesting place to spend a couple of hours learning about the region's relationship with what has been North Carolina's top cash crop historically. The Dukes ended up using their wealth for some good causes. We next visited one of those causes, Duke University. I'll share that with you in my next video. Click the links at the end of this video for some other North Carolina points of interest. And be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so we can see you the next time we're traveling through.